Hey guys, Micah here. Today I have my '06 Toyota Tacoma that I got from my grandpa, and this thing is the epitome of base model. It has no features. Its features include intermittent wipers and air conditioning. That's it. Got manual windows, manual locks, manual everything. As you can see here. Sorry, it's messy. But I am a big cruise control guy. I love cruise control because I'm very lazy with my foot when I'm driving and I want to just set it and go. And so I was like, man, I wish this thing had cruise control. And my brothers Jacob and Austin were like, you know, on the newer cars it's way easier to add cruise control because everything's fly-by-wire. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I went to the local pick and pull and got cruise control, I don't even know what they call this, the cruise control switch, the little cover that I need for the steering wheel, and the little pigtail I need. And from my understanding, as long as the wiring harness in the truck is wired for cruise control, I should be able to just disconnect the battery, remove the airbag, install the switch, put everything back together, and the cruise control will work. So I'm really hoping that's the case, but we're gonna find out. So I just wanted to make a short video about it because I didn't find a ton of helpful information about it, but there was a fair amount. So I just wanted to contribute to that as best as I could. And but as far as the wires that you do need, underneath your steering column, underneath the little cover that's in there, is a small connector just behind the steering wheel, like in between the steering wheel and the ignition. It's called your S8 connector. And on the bottom left of that, as far down and left as you can go, on the 12-pin connector, there should be two wires, a brown wire with a stripe and a white wire with a stripe. But I think that's what it is. I'm colorblind, so don't take that with that much, but those two pins. And as long as you have those, it should work. So I'm going to pull it all apart and double check. I checked this morning if I have those wires, and I'll put a picture up of those wires pointed out. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on pulling these apart. I'm driving out to a couple hours later today for a family vacation that we haven't done in a long time, so I'm really excited for that. But I figured on a 4-hour drive, I'd really like to have cruise control. So, and I was already gonna do an oil change this morning, so I got my oil, and I was like, well, might as well just try and add cruise control real quick. So I ran out to the pick and pull and got what I needed, and let's see if it works out. So this should be a short video, but we'll see how it goes. I'm bad at making short videos. Sorry if this is kind of far away. I don't have a tripod right now, so I just set my phone wherever I can and hope it works out. But I'm gonna start by disconnecting the battery. I'm short. I gotta be on my tippy toes to do the hood on my Tacoma. All right, battery's disconnected. So let's go inside the truck and get started on tearing the steering wheel apart. All right, I just have my phone propped up in the door jamb on the passenger side, so hopefully you guys can see this okay. But the tools you'll need is a small pick to remove these little covers right here. You will need a ratchet. You will need, I should have got these out before I did this, a T30 Torx bit for the bolts that hold the airbag in, and then you will need a Phillips screwdriver. Also, if you go to the pick and pull to get your switch, don't forget to grab the little bolts that hold the switch on, because you'll need those. They don't have them in all steering wheels from the factory. So I'm gonna start by prying these little covers off. One really helpful tip I got from a video I did watch is, so these covers sit in like this. The flat part is facing the steering wheel, round part facing the dash. but there's a lip here, so you want to pull from the flat part back, not the other way around, because then you're fighting this tab versus fighting a very small tab. Just like this. So you want to just stick your little pry bar in, just like that, and just work it down. And come on, pry it out, just like that. So prying it that way versus prying it that way, if that makes any sense. Then inside here, there's two, one on each side, Torx bolts that hold the airbag in. You're gonna slide that guy in there. I'm just gonna break them loose and then undo them by hand. And they have little holders on them, so you don't have to worry about the bolt falling out because it's got its little holder. That should be all the way out, and then you can just kind of pick it up and pull it down a little bit just to get it out of the hole. And make sure you disconnect your battery before you do this, or else you will have an unhappy and unplanned meeting with your airbag. So this should just pop off like that. There is several plugs under here. All you want to disconnect is this little ground one. And then once you do that, you can set your airbag up on top here and out of the way. That way you don't have to worry about disconnecting it all. All you got to do is this little pigtail. And right here is a little pin that you just pull out. This is the old pigtail that you will no longer be needing. And then you can install the new pigtail. So, like I was saying, this is that pigtail. This is where it plugs into the harness, and this is where it plugs into the airbag. So you just want to disconnect this guy carefully, and then disconnect this guy here. Just got a little thing you push down, and it pops right out. And this is your new pigtail for your cruise control. And so this end plugs in at the steering wheel harness, and this ground connects onto your airbag, just like so. And then your cruise control little dongle thing goes inside here somehow. Oh, wrong hole. Right here. Just like so. And it's got that little detent there, or not detent, but little stud there that holds it. And then you take your two little bolts that you also got from the junkyard, or if you ordered this. I only got it from the junkyard because it was way cheaper. I think I paid $16 for the pigtail, the switch, and that little cover, versus I think it's close to $200 if you were to get everything online. But so you just screw these little guys in there, just like so. Plug your little pigtail in, if you do it right. Plug your pigtail in. It goes underneath there, or over that, and then into this little clip here that holds it out of the way of the airbag. So now that that's connected and these are all plugged in, you can put your airbag back. So now that you got that all in, you can put your airbag back, and you can put this little cover on. Well, after, I'm gonna wait till after I put the airbag back because I need to access those little bolts. So that just pops right on there, and you just put those little guys back in the hole. Tighten it up. Don't ask me what the torque spec is on this. The torque spec is about that much. And again, you can only do this if your truck is pre-wired for it. You can do the wiring for it, but I believe you have to replace your clock spring and wire it into the ECM from what I understand. So I'm really hoping this works because I don't want to do all that. Okay, now that you got your steering wheel bolts back in, you can put your little covers back in. They are labeled left and right. They just pop right in there. Thankfully this was the right color too. So now that that's all back together, I can reconnect my battery. Hopefully my airbag doesn't go off, and I can test it and see if it works. All right guys, the battery is connected. Now is the moment of truth. So I'm going to turn my key on and push this little button. Yep, here we go. See that cruise control light's turning on? Hopefully that means that that was a success. This is the little connector here. Haha, this is super cool. All right guys, so I just put the cruise control switch in. The light is coming on, so hopefully that means that everything is working as it should. I'm going to roll up that window manually from this side because base model, but I love that everything is manual. There's less things to go wrong, and it's just a simple truck, and I really like it. Thank you, Grandpa. So we're gonna go for a little drive here and see if this worked. If it does, I'm gonna be super stoked because $16 to have cruise control, that is gangster. And if it does work, I'm gonna come back home, change my oil, and then I'll be ready to go on our vacation. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna do that same thing. Nothing changes, I just won't have cruise control. Get up to speed here. I'm pretty sure I gotta be doing at least 35 miles an hour for it to work. Okay, cruise control is on. It is not working. Back to the drawing board. And by the drawing board, I mean Google. Alright guys, so I have working cruise control. I had one oversight. There's a switch on the clutch pedal for it to disengage your cruise control when you push in the clutch, and I did not get that switch because the truck I got the cruise control stock out of is automatic, and so it didn't have that, so I didn't even think about it. And then I was like, why isn't this working? And then I was just Googling it, and then I was like, oh, obviously. But thankfully my truck is pre-wired with the plug for the cruise control switch on the clutch pedal, and so I was able to hotwire it. I just bridged it because it's a 2-wire switch, so that means it's only got 2 options, open or closed, and so it's closed now. But I will order a switch and get that done properly. But for now, I got a 4.5-hour road trip, and I'm going to use cruise control on it, so super stoked about that. Yep, I'll show you where the switch is, or where the switch goes and where the plug is for the switch. So this is the clutch pedal here, and this is the switch for the clutch start cancel. So it's got this little stopper here that hits that switch when you push the clutch all the way in. But up here is this clutch pedal adjustment. So this adjusts where your clutch pedal stops at the top of its throw. And on the vehicles that are equipped with cruise control from the factory, this is a switch built into the stop. So you pull this stud out, this bolt out, and then a switch threads into that and plugs into this plug. But what I did is I just took a small wire and I put it in that plug, and it worked. So now the cruise control is functioning. Hopefully someone can use that information, and I'm really thankful that I got it working, and now I can enjoy cruise control. That's one feature that this thing didn't have that I wish it did. Everything else I'm not so worried about not having creature comforts for, because I got cruise control, intermittent wipers, and air conditioning, so what more do you need? And a beautiful wife to ride with me, so I'm basically set. But yeah, I'll catch you later. Next I'll show you the bed platform I built in the back, and then yeah, I'm just gonna go from there. I never said goodbye, I just kind of stopped talking, but I'll catch you guys later. Hope you have a good one. God bless. Just keep doing your thing. Bye.